Hi everyone!
Hi, welcome to our stream.
Good evening. How are you all? We hope you had an interesting but fun Easter weekend.
Yes, hopefully you had lots to eat, lots of chocolate.
Maybe some presents as well inside your Easter egg.
Mhm.
Shall we do our introductions?
Yes, why not?
So I'll start. My name is Sophia. I come from London, but I live in Bologna. I have lived in Bologna for 5 years, almost 5 years. And before Bologna, I lived in Greece for 6 years. And I work at my English school in Bologna Mille.
And my name is Aaron. I'm from Cork, Ireland. I was born there, and I've been living in Italy for most of my life. I lived in a town in the north of Italy, very small town. And I've been living in Bologna for about 4 years, and I've been working at my English school, Bologna Mille, for 2.5 years.
Wonderful.
And your question is, introduce yourselves, of course, and
Yes.
which is the best bar in your town?
Exactly. Tell us your name, tell us where you come from, tell us where you are now, and also which is the best bar in your opinion.
Which is the best bar in your town, yeah.
Mm.
So, for example, I grew up in a very, very small town in the north of Italy, and there was only one bar.
Okay.
So it's automatically the best bar.
I suppose if you have no competition, you
Exactly.
are automatically the best bar.
Automatically the best bar. It was a terrible bar, though.
Oh, I was going to say, can you describe this bar? But
No,
terrible?
absolutely
Really?
terrible, yeah.
But why?
Well, let's just say the people in there weren't friendly, and it had a very small selection of things that you could eat or drink.
Oh yeah, but I suppose it's typical in a small village.
Definitely. And what about you? Tell us about. What is the best bar in Athens?
Oh, the best bar in Athens? That's impossible. Athens has a lot of bars, a lot of bars. I can't really think now off the top of my head. Let's see what Marcello says. Hi, my name is Marcello. I'm 38 years old. I come from Sicily. Nice. But I live in Dagnano. Wonderful.
Nice. Tell us, what is the best bar in Legnano or in
your hometown
yeah,
in
in
Sicily? In Bologna, the best bar for me is there is a pub called Brewdog. It's in Via del Paratello, and for me, this is an excellent bar or pub because I am a big fan of beer. I like beers a lot, and oh, Marcello says, I know Aaron,
yes,
but I don't know Sophia. Nice to meet you too, Marcello. So I like Brewdog because it has a very big selection of artisanal beers, and they change the beers every week or every month. They have new ones, different ones. So it's always interesting to go because each time you can try a different, unique beer. So this is for me, the best bar in Bologna.
Giovanni has an excellent answer. He says, hello, I'm Giovanni. I come from Italy, specifically Sardinia, and we have a lot of bars and pubs. Let's say we are the Irish of the Mediterranean Sea.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's a very good answer.
That is a wonderful analogy. Yeah.
Very nice. In fact, Sardinian, of all the Italian beers, Sardinian beer is my favorite.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
nice.
As I said before, I am a big beer fan, and Giovanni, I think Sardinia has the best beers, in my opinion.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let us know. Is there a specific bar that you know? Maybe you were growing up and it's special to you in some
describe
reason.
it to us. What specialities can you drink or eat in this bar? Why do you like it? I'm trying to think in Athens of another one. I suppose in Athens, I very often went to rock bars. So I remember one in the city center where they always played rock music. It was called Blackbird. And the good thing about this bar is that it was open all night. Nice. So you could stay and listen to rock music all night if you want to.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Do you want to start? Shall we look at our focus?
Let's have a look.
Okay. If you want to tell us about the best bar in your town, write for us in the comments at any point, and we will look at our focus, which is ordering drinks.
Yes, ordering drinks. This is why we asked you about your favorite bars. Also, I think it's worth mentioning, what is a bar?
Oh, that's a very good idea. What is a bar? Because a bar in Italian is very different from a bar in English. Okay.
So, for example, can you buy a coffee or a croissant in a bar?
In Italy, yes, but in the UK and in America, no.
Definitely no.
So for us, a bar is usually open in the evening.
And it usually serves alcoholic drinks. So beers, wine, cocktails, exclusively.
Yeah. It doesn't usually serve food.
No,
okay.
Exactly.
You might have maybe some crisps, some nuts, maybe some small things, but
Snacks,
generally no food. Okay.
Exactly. And if it serves, for example, dinner, then maybe it's called a pub instead.
Also, yeah. So a pub
is a bar that also serves food. It usually does lunch and dinner.
And it's open all day.
And it's open all day, yes.
And night. And at night.
If instead you're looking for a place for breakfast to eat, maybe to drink coffee or have some breakfast, we're looking at a cafe. Does it have a?
I don't know if it does.
An accent, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, serves food and coffee.
Actually, I'm just going to put non-alcoholic.
Yeah, because it could be coffee, tea, I don't know, smoothies.
Exactly. A lot of cafes in the UK especially do not have a license to sell alcohol, so they can only sell hot drinks, juices, etc.
So the idea of a café corretto doesn't exist.
So let's go through these one more time, just to be clear. A bar is open in the evening or at night, and it serves alcohol. There is no food.
A pub is similar to a bar, but it also serves food. So lunch, dinner, I suppose breakfast.
Yeah. Some maybe not breakfast, maybe brunch. Some days.
Let's say brunch.
And it's open all day and at night. And finally, we have a cafe, which is open during the day, and it serves food and non-alcoholic drinks. So the cafe is more similar to an Italian bar, but usually without the alcohol.
Exactly.
Let's see some
answers. Giovanni says, my favorite is a craft brewery. Nice,
fantastic word.
In the town of Sassari, in the northwest of the island, where you can drink the beers produced there and eat typical cuisine with live music. Wonderful.
I want to go to this place. This sounds like my paradise.
Tell us the name.
Please tell us the name of the bar, and as soon as the quarantine finishes, we're going there. It sounds fantastic. Marcello says, I like a lot. So we'll change the order, Marcello. I like a pub in my city a lot, but I prefer the Basbaresco because in this pub there is an open bar every Wednesday. Fantastic. Nice. Good. So put a lot generally at the end of the word, okay? I like a pub in my city a lot.
Yes, or you could say, I really like...
yeah, absolutely.
A pub in my city.
Nice. So in this focus activity, we will talk about how to order drinks at a bar, how to order drinks at a restaurant, and also how to pay for drinks.
Yes. Okay, let's look at our first activity. We have, what are you drinking? In this activity, we would like you to create questions. So you need to ask us questions.
Exactly. You can see the question words on the slide. We have with who, when, what's your favorite, where, and how often. Okay. I think our questions will all be in the present simple.
Yes. And remember that with the first one, the preposition does not go at the beginning, but it goes at the end of the sentence.
Exactly. Yeah, remember your structures, and let's make some questions in English.
Exactly. So yeah, it could be with the verb to be or with different verbs. It could be referring to drinks. It could be referring to bars in general.
Yeah. Go on.
Shall we look at the first question at the top there? We have, what are you drinking?
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. Giovanni says the Gambrinus pub. Thank you.
Thank
in
you.
Sassari. Got
Write
it.
it down.
Writing it down right now. Making a note of the Gambrinus pub in Sassari. What are you drinking? I think this is the question that you might ask. It's strange, but if I go to a bar with my friends and I say, "What are you drinking?" What I intend is, "What do you want to drink?" In a strange use.
I suppose it's present continuous for a future fixed plan.
Yeah, probably.
So because often if you're at the pub or at the bar and you don't know what to drink, you ask what other people are drinking and you have something similar.
Yeah, a very typical one is when you decide, are we having beer or wine? Especially in a restaurant. You have to decide, is it beer or wine?
Yes, another good question is, what are you having?
Yes,
for the restaurant as well.
What are you having? What do you want?
Yeah. It's often the case when you go to a new restaurant or a new pub and there is a very big, long menu and you don't know what to choose.
Yeah.
So you ask the others for their suggestions.
But this is a very typical phrase in English. What are you drinking, or what are you having, instead of what do you want to drink, what do you want to eat? Shall we try the first one together, just to help? So we'll start with our question word.
As I said, the preposition goes at the end. We always start with the question word. So who, what, when, how, etc. In this case, we have who. Yeah,
sounds good.
Our question would be?
So we'll start off with this question. Okay, let's look at the structure. We have our question word first. Then we have our auxiliary, so do in this case. Subject, you, and then infinitive, go. Okay. This is a structure which will help you very much making questions in English in the present and also in the past tense. Okay. We're writing up a formula here so that you can
exactly.
See
is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
So this is the structure for any question in the present simple, but also past simple when we get to it, with any type of verb that isn't the verb to be.
Yeah. So, who do you go to a bar with? Most often, once we make the questions, we can also answer them.
Oh, Annalisa, I remember her from another webinar.
Oh, I've met Annalisa before as well. Nice, good. I prefer to drink beer. Good. Annalisa is one of mine. Don't forget, Annalisa, I prefer
either drinking or to drink.
Drink or drinking beer.
Exactly. And so ask us questions. We're making questions.
So who do you go to a bar with? For example, I usually most often go to a bar with my colleagues. Very often if I finish work at 9 p.m., especially if I had a lot of lessons together, before I go home, I prefer to go to the bar and have a beer, maybe have an aperitivo, maybe some sandwiches, something small, just to relax before I go home. Unfortunately, I miss a lot going to the bar after work.
We have an excellent question from Giovanni. Well done. When do you go to the pub?
Excellent.
Exactly. Excellent.
Guys, feel free to also respond to these questions, okay? So far we have two. Who do you go to a bar with? When do you go to the pub? You can also respond, just like Marcello has. I usually go to the pub on Saturday with my wife, and with my friends. My favorite drink is Long Island. Fantastic. We often go to the pub Barbaresco, but we go to the disco on Friday.
Nice.
Marcello, that's perfect.
Excellent.
No notes.
Absolutely perfect.
Yes, Long Island Long Island iced tea. So this is a strong drink, Marcello. You have a tough stomach. It's quite a heavy one.
What are the ingredients of a Long Island iced tea?
What are the ingredients? I feel like I might confuse the Long Island with the Mai Tai because they are quite similar.
Well, Marcello, tell us, what are the ingredients?
What are the ingredients of a Long Island? Because I don't think I can remember.
Annalisa says, who did you go to the pub with? Yes, excellent.
Good.
Well done.
Annalisa is actually using the past tense here. Who did you go to the pub with?
Yeah. Well, we went to the pub with our colleagues when we could.
So for the next one, we'll put what is your...
Yes, in this case, we don't have do because the verb is to be. So with to be, we don't need an auxiliary. We just use to be. And we invert subject and verb. But remember, the first word is always the question word. So what is your favorite drink?
Yeah, for me, it has to be beer. It's my standard drink when I go out. I don't like strong alcoholics, though. If I do drink strong alcoholics, I usually have a cocktail, in particular mojito.
Nice.
And
nice. You? So I don't drink. So I never drink beer or any alcohol in general. I'm very un-Irish. So I usually have a soft drink. So either something with fruit or maybe a Coke.
Exactly.
So I prefer Pepsi, but if I have to choose. But yeah, so a soft drink. In America, they often call them sodas, or what's the other word?
Pop.
Pop.
Exactly.
I've never understood pop.
So a fizzy drink, which we would call it in the UK,
drink,
could be a soda or a pop. For example, Pepsi.
Exactly.
There's some vocabulary. So we have a soft drink, or...
Yes, but we'll see this in a slide.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We have an answer from Annalisa. My favorite drink is Campari with bitter orange juice.
Okay, you prefer bitter drinks. Interesting. Here we go. Long Island is composed of gin, contra, vodka, white rum, lemon, and Coke. That
sounds powerful.
That's 4 kinds of alcohol. Before this lesson, before this webinar, we were discussing what is a cocktail. What
is the definition?
Yeah, what is the classification of a cocktail? And I think a cocktail needs at least minimum 2 kinds of alcohol. Long Island iced tea, is
definitely qualifies as a cocktail.
Yeah, it's a sledgehammer, that one. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Long Island. I prefer Mai Tai. They're quite similar. We also have where and how often. Okay. I will, while we are writing our questions, my favorite cocktail is a mojito. It is composed of rum, soda, lemon. I think it can be lemon juice or like Sprite, and mint is very important, and also brown sugar.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very refreshing.
Is the brown sugar just...
It's crunchy. A mojito is crunchy. That's why I like it. It's very refreshing, but especially at the beginning, before the sugar melts, you sip it and you get sugar in your mouth. Let me write a word here.
Crunchy.
I was going to write to sip.
Sip. That's a very good verb for this focus. So especially if you have a very strong drink, like the Long Island iced tea, you don't just drink it. You take small little drinks, which is sip. Yeah. So
you need to sip it. Or imagine if you have a cup of tea and it's very, very hot. You can't drink it like this because it's dangerous. You take very small sips. Okay, so when you just drink a little bit at a time. Good. And cane sugar.
Cane sugar. Yes,
Okay,
we call it cane sugar or brown sugar. Both are correct.
So let's try our final two questions. Mojito
is a summer drink because
it uses
or it has
yeah
fresh mint.
It uses or has fresh mint. In fact, Annalisa, this is my summer drink. In the winter, I usually drink beer, but in the summer, when I go, especially when I am on holiday, I always go on holiday to Greece, and in the summer, the mojito is my standard drink. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, good. We also have, shall we write the final two questions? No. We'll say, where do you usually go for a drink?
For a drink, yeah. And the last one is how often. But let's start with this one. Where do you usually go for a drink? So if we are working until 9 p.m., we usually go to one of two bars near the school.
Exactly. They are not particularly nice. Like, I don't like them. They are not my favorite bars in Bologna, but they are close to the school and they are friendly.
Yes, very friendly.
Which is very, very important, in my opinion, for a pub or a bar, that the people are friendly. It's so important, especially at 9 p.m.
Yes.
After 6 hours of lessons.
Oh, you need someone nice and friendly to talk to. Yeah.
The bar is not very beautiful, but the people, the waiters are very friendly. So we go, this is why I like it.
Yeah, also when you finish at 9 p.m. you need a drink fast.
Yes, and they are quick. And the final one, how often?
Yes, how often do you go out for a drink? Or go for a drink? So please answer these questions in the comments.
Exactly.
And Annalisa says, I usually go for a drink. Again, it's an aperitif, so I usually go for an aperitif.
Exactly. Good. The aperitif time in Italy is 7 p.m. Yes, I think so. Yes. 7 p.m. is when the aperitif starts. It's usually when they open the buffet.
Yeah, the buffet. Yeah,
7 p.m.
Which is very different to what we have. Obviously, an aperitif is a very Italian thing.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Because for us, you eat at 7 or even earlier. 6 or 7 is when it's your tea time. It's your dinner time.
And aperitif in Italy is also food. Usually you don't have dinner, you just have the aperitif, I think, or not.
That's different. I think it's called cena or something like
that. But in the UK, at least, when you have an aperitif, it is a drink before dinner. It's like pre-dinner drinks.
Pre-dinner drinks, yeah.
Very fancy. Let us know in the comments, where do you usually go, how often, etc.
So an aperitif would be at 5?
Yeah. 5 is the cocktail hour. Yeah. You can start drinking at 5 p.m.
Yeah. Exactly. So when you think that 5 o'clock we're drinking tea, we're actually not.
No, tea is 4.
Exactly.
I generally go to the bar with friends on weekends, around 10 p.m. And I usually drink beer. My favorites are British Golden Ale.
Wow.
Nice. Excellent job, guys. All right, good. Shall we continue?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, let's do some vocabulary.
Yes, we have some words here on the left. We have on the rocks.
Cocktail.
Draft.
Glass of wine.
Pitcher.
Bottle.
And non-alcoholic. So please match the words to the pictures. You have A, B, C, D, E, F, and G.
Annalisa says we have 2 times for aperitif, before dinner and before lunch.
There's a before lunch aperitivo?
Apparently, yes. Do you know what was fantastic? So for a period a few years ago, I lived in Venice, And Venice is fantastic because in Venice, from 10 a.m., you could see older Venetian people in the piazzas drinking spritz.
Yeah,
it's
from
like
10 a.m.
From 10 a.m., it was spritz time. It was spritz o'clock. And you had all the students who started drinking maybe at lunchtime, but these old men had a spritz like with their coffee basically for breakfast. It was incredible. Marcello says, a glass of wine. I don't think so. No, I think the glass of wine is somewhere else. If you notice, look at the glass, Marcello. This is not a wine glass.
It's a different
shape. Yeah.
With the right shape in the comments as well.
Yeah, definitely.
For the form of the, yeah. And I think Annalisa is correct.
Yeah.
It is a cocktail.
It is a cocktail. The color, I understand your confusion because the color is very similar to wine, but it's the wrong glass. This is a cocktail. Yeah, Marcello, you should know, recognize your cocktails, Marcello. Annalisa says B, draft. I think she is correct.
So draft.
We're joking, Marcello. Don't worry.
We're joking.
We're making fun. So yes, B is a draft. Do you know what a draft beer is?
Well, a draft beer is a beer that you you usually have it in a bar or a pub, and it comes from the tap.
Exactly. So draft beer is not in a bottle.
Yes, not in a bottle. It comes in a it comes in the bar from a tap.
Exactly.
So the classic draft beer in Ireland is Guinness.
And
you can also find it in cans, but there's a special preparation for that. It contains a special little bowl to have the. I'm Irish. I have to know these things.
How do you know this? It has a bowl.
Guinness? It has inside the can. There's this little bowl that is there to make the foam come out when you pour it into the glass.
That's fantastic.
It's there's a patent behind it. There's a big story behind it.
Nice. Okay, Annalisa says C on the rocks. And I think I agree. Yes, C is definitely on the rocks. Obviously, on the rocks is a metaphor. There are no rocks in the glass. The on the rocks is, of course, ice. Okay.
With ice. So it's usually not mixed.
What do you mean?
Like, would it be just, for example, whiskey?
Exactly.
So it's not a cocktail.
No, this is not a cocktail. In fact, if it is, we can say on the rocks, so with ice, or mixed when you put water instead. Apparently, I don't drink whiskey because for me, whiskey is too strong, but apparently it's very controversial. You do not mix water with your whiskey. If there is no water and no ice, okay, we have two words to describe this. We can say that it is straight or neat, okay? So it's a strong alcoholic.
For example, whiskey.
I'll put this as well. For example, whiskey with no ice or water, okay? So you can ask for straight whiskey or neat whiskey or vodka or rum, anything that you prefer, okay? But for this, you need to have a very strong stomach. You need to have a powerful stomach.
Giovanni, I think, gave us an answer for D. We have a glass of wine.
Absolutely.
G, pitcher, which I think somebody else said as well.
Annalisa, the opposite of on the rocks. Look at my previous comment. Okay. So yes, D for wine. Did someone say?
I think somebody said maybe earlier on.
Annalisa has it.
Non-alcoholic, exactly. Very good.
So if you remember from before, we said our non-alcoholics are soft drinks. They could be juice. They could be fizzy drinks, etc.
And F is a bottle. Very good. A bottle of wine.
As Giovanni also says.
Something else. Very good. And the last one is a pitcher. A pitcher is it's like a big glass container. It's usually for beer or maybe punch.
Exactly.
For a group of people.
I mean, a pitcher essentially is it's also called a jug.
Yeah, jug.
So it's a big container liquid.
Exactly. And Giovanni even gave us the translation, which is
perfect.
Great.
Good. So it's clear. Is it correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Annalisa says, in particular, it's a picture of sangria. Annalisa, you are absolutely correct. Generally, as I said at the beginning, I don't like wine, but I make an exception for sangria.
Yeah.
In the summer, sangria is excellent to drink. It's very sweet, and usually it's quite refreshing. And you can also have, this is very good, you can also have white sangria. So it's white wine, and instead of putting apples and oranges, which is more typical of sangria, the red sangria, they put red fruits in. So it's like white wine with strawberries. And it's very, very nice. Okay. Annalisa agrees with me about I think she agrees about the exception for sangria. Yeah. Nice job, guys. Well, yeah, how else are you going to be Mexican? You have to be sometimes you need to be Mexican and you need sangria.
I thought it was Spanish.
Oh yeah, maybe. I feel like it might be Mexican. Anyway,
ordering drinks. I hope we don't have any.
Ordering drinks at a pub. I'm going to look this up. Okay, I have to make a note.
Johnny says, I guess it isn't correct to use on the rocks for a glass of Coke with ice, right? It's just for alcoholic drinks. I think so. I've never heard it used with Coke.
I've never heard somebody say Coke on the rocks.
No, it sounds very strange.
Yeah, I have heard Coke with ice. Yeah. So I would say yes, Giovanni, you are correct. Alcohol on the rocks, but for fizzy drinks, yeah, just with ice. Yeah. It's not cool enough to say
no
on the rocks, it's so let's read our sentences let's read them first. Okay, shall we alternate?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Here's your change.
I'd like a pitcher of beer and 4 glasses.
Yes, a rum and Coke.
Okay, anything else?
Hi, what can I get you?
I'll have 50.
That will be $10. That was hilarious. That was excellent.
Obviously, this is not the correct order of this conversation.
Yeah, that was chaos. That was fantastic, but it was chaotic.
Chaos.
Let's put these into the correct order to make a dialogue between 2 people. Exactly. In particular, we're in a pub, so it's a dialogue between a customer and what would you call the person who
bartender?
Works? Yeah, the bartender, I would say.
Yeah, bartender. But remember that no, what did I want to say? Anyway, in the comments, please give us the correct order. Maybe give us the numbers. Yeah,
absolutely.
3, 4, 5, 2, 1.
Let's look at bartender, the person who works in a pub or a bar. Let's look at some vocabulary. We have our change. This is not a verb. This is a noun.
This is a noun, yes, and it is the money that you need to give back. So, for example, if the total is 46 euros and you give 50, the change is 8 euros.
From 46?
No, 4 euros.
Wow.
4 euros change.
This is why you're so easy to swindle. So the change is the money you get back after paying.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It's only if you pay cash, of course.
Yeah. We saw a picture before and glasses. Yeah, I think.
Yes, and when they say a 50, it means a 50 euro note or a dollar note in this case.
Yeah, so a 50 would be a
note.
Paper money.
And we have already 2 answers, one from Annalisa, one from Giovanni.
They agree.
They agree.
Which is a good sign.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Let's try the dialogue with their order.
Okay. Wait, what? I don't know what that means.
No idea.
Sorry, we're not sure what that is.
Anyway, let's try the dialogue in that order.
Okay. Do you want to start?
Okay. Hi, what can I get you?
I'd like a pitcher of beer and 4 glasses.
Okay, anything else?
Yes, a rum and coke.
That will be $10.
I only have a 50.
No problem. Here's your change.
Oh, $10 for a pitcher of beer and a rum and coke?
That's very cheap.
That's very cheap.
It's very, very cheap.
That's fantastic. Let's look at the correct order.
Hi, what can I get you?
I'd like a pitcher of beer and 4 glasses.
Okay, anything else?
A rum and coke.
That'll be $10.
I only have 50.
No problem. Here's your change.
Perfect. Nice job, guys.
Let's see if you know. Tell me in the comments if you know what is the name of the extra money that you leave for the waiter.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
This is optional in Ireland, at least. I think it's the same in the UK.
Yeah, it's optional in the US. It's almost obligatory.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. What do we call the extra money that you give in a restaurant, in a bar, in many situations?
Oh yeah, in America it's very common in the taxi as well. Where else do you tip?
Yeah.
No.
No. Maybe they didn't hear you.
Maybe they didn't hear me.
Oh God. Typical.
I was thinking of the noun and then I use the verb, which is the same. Okay, well, Giovanni doesn't know, so we can tell him.
Yeah, so it's a tip. Wow, I'm making a mess of this. Tip is the noun, and we also have
the
a
verb, which is to tip. Exactly. So it's tip. So you leave a tip for the waiter or
the barman,
for the barman or taxi driver, the whoever.
Exactly. Okay. We've got another dialogue. Should we read it again?
Yes.
This is a different dialogue. We're doing it again because it was so much fun. You start.
Thank you.
Anything else?
My son would like a Coke.
Good evening. Can I get you something to drink?
I'll be back with those in a moment.
A dry red?
A bottle of wine, please.
Do you have a preference? I love doing this. It's brilliant. So here we will decide first who is speaking.
Yes. Is it the waiter or the customer? Tipping, yes, with a G. Tipping. Annalisa. Yes. So first you need to decide if it is the waiter or the customer, and then we will put them in order. But first, waiter or customer.
You can number the sentences. So we'll go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sentences. So you can number the sentences 1 to 8.
And again, put them into the correct order.
Yeah, and tell us, is it the waiter or the customer who is speaking? Yeah, nice. I'm just making a note of something.
I'm thinking of the tipping as well. Sometimes, for example, if you are paying, for example, 46 euros, you pay with 50 and you say, keep the change.
Exactly, and this would be your tip.
So in that case, you'd say, I'll write it down, keep the change. When you don't want the change back and you leave it for the service. Yeah,
that's a good one.
Keep the change.
Yeah, maybe you can, keep the change. It's a very typical phrase that you can use intending when you want to tip.
Keep the change. And I think we can remove the banner there. Okay, excellent. So again, put this in the correct order and tell us who is speaking.
Okay. Giovanni has an order. Shall we read it?
Okay.
This will be a little bit more difficult.
I'll start. Good evening. Can I get you something to drink?
A bottle of wine, please.
Do you have a preference?
A dry red.
Anything else?
My son would like a Coke.
I'll be back with those in a moment.
Thank you. Very nice.
Okay, good. Yes, I think that is correct.
So we basically did our... Shall we go through waiter or customer? Well, thank you could be either one.
Yes.
It's hard to...
This is always important. Be polite, please.
Yes, use your pleases and your thank yous. They are always appreciated.
Always important.
Anything else, I think, is the waiter. Yeah? Okay.
My son would like a Coke is definitely the customer.
I mean, why would the waiter be telling you what his son wants?
Exactly. It'd be a very strange waiter.
Good evening, can I get you something to drink? I mean, he is offering, so I would say waiter here.
I'll be back with those in a moment. Again, the waiter.
A dry red, in the dialogue, I imagine this is the customer.
But it could be the waiter.
Yeah, maybe the customer asks, what do you recommend or what do you suggest? And the waiter
says a dry red.
Absolutely.
Or what is this wine? What is this wine? And he says, oh, a dry red.
Yeah. A bottle of wine, please. Again, customer.
Yeah. And do you have a preference? Is the waiter.
Yeah.
And Annalisa asks, what is a dry red?
Yeah.
This refers to the type of wine.
Yeah. Attention, meaning, Annalisa, of dry red. Yes, it's the type of wine. It's the it's connected to the taste and the quality. We've got dry for wines. It can be dry or it can be sweet, which is the opposite. Okay. They're adjectives and they describe I think it's the quality and taste.
Yeah, and taste of the wine. In this case, it's red wine, so a dry red.
Of wine. Okay. I think it's very similar also in Italian. It's the same word, I think.
I'm not sure, honestly.
Yeah. I prefer sweet wine to dry wine, but in general, I don't like wine very much anyway, so it doesn't make much difference for me.
But tell us in the comments, do you prefer dry wine or sweet wine?
Do you prefer dry wine, sweet wine? I'll put this up.
Do you prefer red or white?
Yeah.
Or a rosé?
Okay, red wine or sweet wine. In the meantime, let's go on to the correct order.
Excellent. Shall we repeat it again?
Yeah, let's read it again. Actually, why don't we mix it up a bit? Annalisa says fermo mosso. No, this is something different, Annalisa. This is still
or sparkling. This also can refer to water, but in this case, we're talking about wine. If it has bubbles inside, it's fizzy or sparkling wine or water. And if it doesn't have any, it's still.
Exactly. So a sparkling wine, for example, is Prosecco or Lambrusco. These are sparkling. Other wines are still, okay? Dry and sweet is connected, as I said before, to the taste of the wine, okay? Yeah, let's read it again. Good evening. Can I get you... Oh, sorry, I meant to bring up this one. Can I get you something to drink?
A bottle of wine, please.
Let's change it.
Oh, a pitcher of punch, please.
Do you have a preference?
No.
Anything else?
My cousin would like a rum and coke.
I'll be back with those in a minute.
Thank you.
Let's see, Annalisa, I hope it's clear the difference. Let's see Giovanni's comment. He says, depends on the food with which I match it. Nice sentence. Generally, I prefer the taste of dry wine when I'm eating meat. Yes, I think dry red wine is the best choice with meats.
Maybe, Giovanni, you can give an example of a dry
to help
us. Yeah.
Is Prosecco dry? Prosecco can be dry or sweet. I've seen bottles of dry Prosecco and also bottles of sweet Prosecco, so it can be both. A sweet wine, for example, is Di Bibo. That is a sweet wine. In fact, it's more for dessert, for after dinner. Prosecco can be both. I don't know enough about wine to give more
To give more
examples,
examples.
unfortunately.
But Giovanni, maybe you can give us some examples of a dry wine, so that we can give some more examples.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try the dialogue again, but let's switch.
Okay.
Maybe. Good evening. Can I get you something to drink?
3 beers, please.
Do you have a preference?
A Sardinian beer, please.
Anything else?
Yes, my friend would like a glass of wine.
Any preference?
She would like a dry white wine.
I'll be back with those in a moment.
Thank you.
Without advertising my local products, for example, Cano now red wine.
Red dry wine. Okay. I hope it's clear, Annalisa, the difference. It's the same words in Italian. I'm quite sure it's the same in Italian as well. Okay, so it's it should make sense, I hope.
Okay.
Nice. Okay. What else should we do?
Let's repeat the other dialogue with different options as well.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Let's go back and look at the previous
but if you feel like answering any of the questions we asked before, please tell us as well. It's I understand without the verb.
Yeah.
Also, I think we asked, do you prefer red or white wine?
Yeah, do you prefer red or white? And dry or sweet? I think for me, my favorite is dry white wine, but I like sparkling as well. I think Prosecco is probably my favorite.
Nice.
Yeah, but let us know. Do you prefer red or white, dry or sweet wine?
Right, so let's repeat this dialogue. Let's change it up a bit. Hi, what can I get you?
I'd like a pitcher of sangria and 3 glasses.
Okay, anything else?
Yes, a beer.
That will be 25 euros.
Yeah, that sounds more like it. 25 euros. Here's 30. Keep the change.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Shall we try it again?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Annalisa says, I don't like to drink good wine. Remember, Annalisa?
It's to drink or drinking.
Yeah. After like, we have to drink or drinking.
Well done. And I think I was thinking about beers now, but you could also have, we talked about draft beer, so the one you get from the tap, but you also have, I think Giovanni mentioned it earlier, craft beer.
But craft beer is artisanal beer,
exactly.
Right? So it's made from an independent.
Exactly. No, it was a good adjective to give.
Absolutely.
Just craft beer as well.
Yeah, and he also mentioned the place where we make beer, which is a brewery.
Yeah, exactly. A very famous landmark in Dublin is the Guinness Brewery.
Yeah, and I think the Ignusa Brewery is actually a place you can visit in Sardinia as well. I think. I'm not sure.
Well, Giovanni can confirm later. Anyway, we are
almost at the end. So if you have any final questions or any final answers, type them now. Let's go over some vocabulary, shall we? We talked about.
Maybe let's start from the bottom here.
Yeah.
So wine, it can be red or white, dry or sweet,
exactly,
sparkling or still.
Yes. So dry or sweet is connected to the flavor of the wine, and still or sparkling is connected to the liquid. Is it still or is it bubbly like Prosecco? What else did we talk about? We had this expression here, which you can use in pubs, bars, restaurants, cafes, as you prefer. Keep the change if you want to be a generous customer.
To give a tip, or tipping, which is the name of the money that you give for the service.
Exactly. The money that you receive back after paying is your change, okay? Attention, it's not the verb to change, it's a noun in this case. We also have the bartender. So
The person who works in a pub or
Mhm.
bar. The pitcher is a jug. It's a big container for maybe wine or beer.
Sangria,
Exactly.
as you prefer. We talked about a strong alcoholic on the rocks, so on ice. If you don't want ice and you don't want water, you have it straight or neat, okay?
Exactly.
For example, whiskey or vodka, you can drink it neat.
Beer.
If your stomach is strong enough.
Of course, beer from the tap is a draft beer.
And a beer from an independent small company is craft beer. Which Giovanni gave us this word at the very beginning of the lesson.
Yes, and the place where you make beer is a brewery.
We also learnt this verb, to sip, okay? So imagine that you've got a hot drink. You don't want to go like this. You take a small drink. Okay, guys, I think we'll finish there. That's all we have time for. Thank you very, very much for joining us and for all your comments.
And we'll see you next time.
See you next time, guys. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Bye.